Where knowledge meets the game. 3 voices, every angle and beyond the headlines. As Xavier Houston is a sports encyclopedia of knowledge, with a deep inside look at the recruiting landscape, from prospects to pipelines. He sees the whole board. Simeon Houston brings it play by play, thought by thought, breaking down the game with logic, clarity, and a deep understanding of how all the pieces fit together. And rounding out the huddle, Martin Houston, national champion, 2-time SEC champion, with insight forged in the field of play, with an unmatched passion for sports, leadership, and life. Together, they take you from the locker room
to the field, to inside the huddle. 3 voices, every angle,
beyond the headlines.
This is the Houston Huddle.
Now it's time to lock in.
It's time for the huddle. The Houston Huddle.
The Houston Huddle.
It's time for the huddle. The Houston Huddle.
Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share on your favorite social platform. And let's get in the game.
Alrighty. Let's get in the game, guys. Let's get ready to roll. It's now time for episode 2 of the Houston Huddle. I'm Martin Houston. That's Xavier Houston. That's Simeon Houston. We are the Houston Huddle. 3 voices, every angle, beyond the headlines. We got a lot to get to. Of course, we're going to be talking about the transfer portal. Got some audio clips. We're gonna break down, guys. Is Alabama searching for the wrong thing? Is Alabama using the wrong measuring stick? This morning on the Martin Houston show, we talked, guys, and we had guys say, well, it's not just how we lost, it's the fact that we lost the way we did. I mean, it's not the fact we lost, it's how we lost. We had people talking about dealing dealing with softness and all of those different things. So there's so much out there in terms of what is the Bama standard. One person talks about the board may have a culture, but it's not the right culture, may not be the right culture for Alabama. So like I said, there's a lot to get to, but we're gonna let some other voices kind of talk for us. We're gonna hear from Josh Payton, the college football show. We're gonna hear from George Teague, the Teague Take. We're gonna hear from Signetti and him talking about how he builds his program. He talks about recruiting high school players. He talks about developing players, and you're gonna think you're listening to Nick Saban. I'm gonna just warn you, you're gonna cry uh, because you're gonna think, "Oh man, Nick Saban is in Indiana." We also have a little clip of why I say stars don't matter. We're gonna show you what's the kid's name, Jimothy Lewis from Mississippi
Mhm.
State. There's a video, and this is how he got his star. You're gonna hear what Signetti had to say about stars. What y'all think Signetti had to say about stars?
They don't matter.
When you hear him talk, you're gonna be like, dang. And the point he makes is so good. The point he makes is so good. But if you know how to evaluate, and the guy's a 5-star by someone else's ranking, then maybe the stars matter. But anyway, hey, listen, God has given us another opportunity to be with you uh, as the Houston Huddle, and we do not take that lightly. So we encourage you to maximize the opportunity that God has given you as well. And we invite you to get in on the conversation. You can add your thoughts, your comments, and your reactions in chat. We are working on a way to bring in some phone calls, limited phone calls. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks or so, we'll have that nailed down. So stay with us. More coming. We'll grow together, build together. But one thing I can promise you, three voices, every angle beyond the headlines. We're going to talk about stuff that you're not going to necessarily hear everywhere else. All right, guys, before we get into the football, we didn't even bring it up today. Football was so big. I mean, Nate Oates is doing something special over there on the basketball court. Give me you guys take on the football game. I mean the basketball game. See?
Uh, um, I mean, I'm absolutely ecstatic for this basketball team. They had Noah Williamson showed up for the first time all season, um, and that had to do with Aiden Sherrill going down with an injury too. So he was able to step up, and Alabama really didn't miss a beat with him on the court for the first time this season. So I think it just took him a little bit of time to get adjusted to the SEC style of play. But also Amari
Hold on,
Allen,
Siri, let me ask you a question. Do you think the Noah Williamson thing could it have been intimidation and once when there was nothing, there's nobody, it's just you, dude. We don't have a choice now.
yeah, I mean,
You know how sometimes you say
yeah,
a guy plays careful because he's afraid the guy behind him or he's going to lose time. But when you don't have anybody else and it's just you just go play. Do you think that had anything to do with his
I
performance?
mean, absolutely. I mean, he had a at 7 foot tall, he drove to the lane and did a reverse layup. I
That
didn't
was
even know
nice.
he had that. I didn't. Nobody even knew he had that in his
Is that
repertoire.
is that the
So
one late in the game where he pump fake? The guy
pump
ran at
fake,
him, he pump
drove, and
fake.
then
Yeah,
yep.
yeah, that was
I mean
nice.
that
That
was,
was nice.
and so that just shows that he is. I mean, because it doesn't. Earlier in the season, it looks like he couldn't even. He didn't even know what he was doing. He was slow footed. Just his hand. He didn't have good hands. So it was probably just nerves. I mean, wasn't he the player of the year in his conference where he
Yes,
transferred
Yes.
from? And
yes.
so I'm pretty sure everybody was shocked at his performance early in the season, but I feel like now he's rounding out into shape. And then shout out Amari Allen. He really carried Alabama for the first 8 minutes of the game. I mean, he had, I think at the under 12 media timeout, he had like 7 points and 6 rebounds or something like crazy stat like
It
that.
it was 7, 6, and 2
Yeah.
in the
And so
first
Well,
7.5 minutes of play.
that's awesome.
It was nasty, and I saw somebody bring up the point. He's in the starting lineup. He's getting the minutes he's getting because Diabate transferred, and he
yeah.
went toe to toe and outplayed Diabate Saturday. And I mean, I think it was an overall just a great Alabama win. Talk about Cheryl going down. Bowen didn't play. So Noah Williamson really had to step up and be the big. And he did it. 5 for 7 from the field, 10, 4, and 2, and 2 steals. So he was making plays. And I think it took him a little bit of time because Alabama tends to play fast and up tempo. And I don't think that's what he came from. And I've been a harsh critic, so praise when it's due. He played a phenomenal game. Aiden Holloway matching his career high with 26. Phylon at halftime had 2 points, and Alabama had a 16-point lead. Millette shot lights out. It was an
It was good.
absolute phenomenal performance from this team, from multiple guys stepping up, hitting shots. When you lose your big, you got another big out. Your star player isn't hitting in the first half. To at one point be up 21 against a Kentucky team, 4 in a row. First time Alabama's ever won 4 in a row versus Kentucky. Shout out to Nate Oates. You make a rough end of a football season more bearable when you have a really good basketball team.
Alabama's a basketball school now.
Absolutely. And for those of you who may be new to the Houston Huddle and new to the Martin Houston Show, guys, we are basketball players trapped in football players' bodies.
Y'all are.
Yeah. So don't assume that we don't know the game of basketball. Man, I absolutely love the game of basketball, and can look at it, break it down, and all of that. So
I'm ready for baseball when my other sport comes
Yeah.
back into play.
So in baseball don't move the needle much, so we won't talk much about it. I mean, just FYI, by the time baseball come around, we back in spring practice. I mean, let's just be real. But we will hit it if Alabama's good. but anyway, the basketball is really huge, and I would tell you 2 things that this team shooting is gonna be there. I think this is one of his best shooting teams, and I don't know how dangerous this team can be when Holloway is doing what he's done. He has 2 26-point games prior in his first 80-something games, and has 2 in the last 2 games. So just FYI, we'll shout out girls softball too, Keith. Keith Hogan saying I like girls softball. We do too. We just
They're basketball guys. They played basketball. I didn't. I was football and baseball.
So we're sports guys though. So we'll shout that out, and we'll shout out Christy Curry getting a 30-point win for Arkansas to kick off that 77 to like 48 or something like that. So definitely.
Can we talk about how impressive that is with losing 3 first rounders?
Yeah, it's good. It shows you that you can build a culture, and they got some stout people jumping in. But back to NATO's. I think two things this team has to continue to improve on. I think the shooting is going to be fine, um, but I think blue collar, and Allen is showing he can bring some of that Diabate blue collar work, but I think he's a more skilled player. So the balance of it is he may not be as blue collar as
Diabate and Herb
Diabate,
Jones, but he's a
but
more
but
skilled shooter.
he doesn't have to be. Herb and Diabate were going to get you 6 to 8. I think this guy by the end of the year is going to be a 12 to 14 point a game type of guy, along with the blue collar. Uh, and so I think it'll be even more
Mhm.
effective on the differential in the scoring,
And
meaning that he may not stop them as much, but he'll get us more points. And when he kind of your fourth scorer or fifth scorer, you're talking about a team. So and then the other thing is they have to figure out the rebounding. And rebounding, the good thing about rebounding is skill, but it's also effort. Um,
mhm.
and I think as this team now moves in, as P. Phil said, Coach Oates scheduling, those elite teams pre-SEC may have this team ready to make a run in the SEC, and then by the time they get to the end of the year, they are what you would call a team that could have even greater chemistry than what they have now.
Yeah, I mean, and you're talking just the LeBaron Fallon has worked his way into being a lottery pick just with as skilled as he is. And you're talking about Aiden and Amari are working themselves into being first round draft picks as well. They've both been projected in the last couple NBA drafts as first rounders as well. So this team is get reaching different levels of talent that we haven't seen before at Alabama.
Yep. So kudos to Coach Oates, kudos to Coach Curry. Uh, Football season is still in full swing. It's still transfer portal. It's still playoffs. We're gonna talk about the games and what we think about those. Hard to believe, man, but we're gonna give you our thoughts on the Final Four in football. And we're gonna get some. Like I said, we're gonna use some audio. We're gonna hear Kirk Cinetti coming out on the other side, guys. I think you guys will really enjoy um, his audio. But we're going to take a quick break here. We'll be back on the other side with a little Kirk Signetti. And I'm just preparing you. Don't get scared because I don't think you can make the same type of run Saban had. I don't know if a conference can make that type of run for as long as Saban did because there's no stability in college football. Therefore, there's no way the system works consistently over an extended period of time. We'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to the Houston Huddle with Xavier, Simeon, and Martin. We'll be back in just a moment. All right, welcome back in. Here's Coach Signetti. It's a process. It's a way of doing things. Man, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. But if he can do it, maybe DeBoer can.
It's a process, and it's a way you go about doing things. It's a standard, it's an expectation, a high standard, a high expectation. It's accountability, right? It's discipline, commitment, toughness, work ethic, pride. It's wanting to be great versus wanting to be normal. And
Maybe.
normal kind of equals average, and average is okay. There's no problem with average, except in my business. My business, average is the enemy. And to be great, you got to have special focus, special commitment, special preparation, and discipline, and the ability to say no to some things. All right? So you stack great days on top of each other. You play the game the way we want to play the game.
All right, guys, take it away.
I mean, that is a Saban disciple if I've ever heard of one. I mean, he is just seeing him talk about the process more than anything is something that Alabama as a whole hasn't been seeing. I mean, and since he retired, it's the process. It's all about special preparation, stacking great days on top of great days. When have you ever heard DeBoer? And I'm not. This is not a knock at DeBoer, but when was the last time he said it's a process? It's you have to stack great days on top of great days. He doesn't have those type of coach speech that he has. I mean, it's disappointing, but each coach has different opinions, and different philosophies. But it's good to hear it from a coach like that.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is coach speak, but he's implementing it, and that is implementation that gets you the results. The difference, I think, when you look at now what he's done his first 2 years is insane. Nobody would have guessed it. Indiana fans would be completely happy if he went 7-5, 8-4 every year. But he didn't walk into this situation with Nick Saban level expectations, where if you slip up, people call for your job day one. They could get the doors blown off of them by Oregon, and Indiana will be happy. We see how we feel.
Not now. They won't.
I think they would. I think at the end of the day, they would.
You can't blow the doors off of Alabama at 38-3 and then be happy. I think, unfortunately for him, and this is what Coach Saban says, and I'm going to agree with Coach Saban, he can become the victim of his own success.
True.
I believe that. I really do, Xavier.
And that's what I kind of sit back and wonder. He's not going to have a Saban run, an Alabama Saban run, but he could have the equivalent of that run at Indiana. Can he do that? That's the question. Because regardless, it sounds great. Hey, came in, you had a system, you had a philosophy, you brought a bunch of your guys in that were bought in with it. Does that continue when you're already 8 players committed out of the portal? Does that philosophy move forward as these teams change and get further away from what you brought in?
And that's the challenge, Xavier. I do, but when you say that he can get blown off and they'll be happy, no, they won't. It's Janet Jackson world. What have you done for me lately?
These Indiana fans on Twitter, if you didn't know the history of Indiana, you would have thought that Indiana has won everything. I mean, you would think they have.
You think they're Alabama?
Yeah, I mean, and them beating Alabama 38-3 didn't help. I mean, it is insane to see the switch that a team that is the worst winning team with the lowest percentage of all time. Now their fans they have Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State expectations.
Yeah. And what I would say, Xavier, is if Indiana had if he had slowly built into it, if he had went 7-5 and won a bowl
If this
game,
was 3-4 years down the road,
if it was 8-4, but the fact that he's come in 2 years, like he had a problem with last year's team. This year, he literally addressed those problems in the portal and totally built from where he was. I think this will be in the immediate aftermath. If they were to lose to Oregon, Indiana will be devastated. It'll take them a little while, and then they'll be okay. But I just if they get blown out, the question because Xavier, we just came back and beat Oklahoma, and then we got blown out.
yeah.
Okay, I think you would see some of that. Now, common sense will ultimately way. And then guess what? He comes into next year. What will they be expecting? What do you think? No matter
Big
what
Ten championship.
Indiana, no matter what happens with Indiana this year, what can Kirk Cignetti do next year at Indiana and them not feel like it's a failure?
I mean, he has. If they don't win it this year, they have to. They go in expecting to win it next year. If they were to win it this year, they're expecting to
Repeat.
get back to the Big Ten championship, whatever that be, but be in position to win another one.
And that's a high bar. And the difference between what Cignetti has done and every other coach is the difference was he brought half of his starters from a culture standpoint. See, it's not just about whether guys can play. Kirk Cignetti, the advantage he had, he raised the bar and expectations, but he also was able to bring in like what's his name? Every coach has tried to raise the bar when they go to a program. The problem is they've never been able to bring all of those guys with them. Okay, like we hadn't talked about this yet. Saban said it out loud. It's a possibility that Cal could all of a sudden be great because Josh Sepoy takes half of the defense from Oregon. If Oregon loses, nobody's talked about this. Half of the guys who would build next year's program for Oregon could be in
I think some of these guys that if you look at their portal entries, it's been from their defense.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is like you're looking at this. Who would have thought? I mean, like Ohio State did what they did, right? Last year. Had the same type of season that Cignetti is having this year. I mean, in terms of the portal. And how did their fans act? You remember how their fans last year were talking about, man, we won the championship, but we didn't beat Michigan. Well, this year they beat Michigan, and now they're disappointed. Ohio State fans are disappointed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they had the same type of offseason in the portal coming that Cignetti had. It's tough. Chemistry. It's not just about getting Jimmys and Joes, and it's not just about getting people from the portal. It's about how does that team chemistry work? How does that team chemistry work, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Signetti has had 2 years where team chemistry has been off the charts. But the difference was he had an ingredient that he will never have again.
Guys that had been there, who had been there for 2 years with him at JMU.
He doesn't get to
And
come to a new culture and bring a winning culture with him by bringing,
13
14,
guys.
whatever number of guys.
Right.
All of that goes away, and now he's bringing in 8 guys out of the portal so far. But what if they don't have his mindset?
The only positive, I guess you can say from that standpoint for him is how many guys are there that have been there. How many guys that will be on this 2026 team have been there for 24 and 25 and learned from the guys that came from JMU in 22 and 23?
It don't matter. He's bringing in 8 guys that could be stronger than the guys that are there. He brought in 13 guys that had his culture already. All of these guys hope to have that culture, right? But you're bringing in guys.
Yeah.
But I get. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why you hope your freshmen and your sophomores that'll be juniors and seniors in 26.
But they don't have experience. They may have culture, but they don't have experience. Building
Those guys
teams.
had the culture and the experience, and now it's culture versus outside experience.
Right. If you follow me on LinkedIn, if you don't, you should. I write about culture all the time. It's like competence versus, confidence. And it's about chemistry, and making all the right decisions. He's building a juggernaut, but that juggernaut, ask what's his name down at Florida State?
Norvell.
Ask Norvell how hard it is to bring in a new group of people and build the same type of culture. The reason Signetti had 2 years of great culture was he brought in that culture.
Yeah.
Next year will be his test. All right, well, maybe. He could have some of those James Madison guys still could. He could have a few of James Madison guys that stayed back, but those were his guys that stayed back too.
And there's a reason they were in the playoffs too.
Right. So the guy can coach, he can recruit and all that stuff. I still hadn't found the other audio that I was looking for from him, but anything else y'all want to say about Signetti in this before we get to break? All right, let's get to break.
I don't like talking about him.
No.
I don't really like talking about him.
But should I play it one more time and let everybody hear it?
Nope.
No. That was heartbreaking, wasn't it? I told you that Saban was up in Indiana, and if I find that other piece of audio, I'll play it again.
He's more Saban than Kirby is.
Hey, listen, guys. He talks about stars. He goes, "What does a guy that's giving these stars know about football?" He said, "They definitely don't know more than the coaches is watching hundreds of hours of film."
Yeah.
So we'll be back on the other side. We're gonna hear Josh Pate. No. Let's hear George T. It's about a 3-hour clip. 3-minute clip, not 3 hours. It's about a 3-minute clip. George T, former teammate of mine, breaks down. Actually, he might be saying, in some ways, he may make you feel better about what the board has been able to do here at Alabama in 2 years following the legend. We'll have that on the other side of the break. All right, welcome back into the Houston Huddle with Martin, Xavier, and Simeon. It's three voices, every angle beyond the headline. Before we get into the George Teague audio, Simeon, you had some news that maybe I'm sure the Maniacs already know about it, man, because they usually know more than we do. But uh, we'll give a shout out to you. Tell us a little bit about what's happening at the capstone.
Yeah, I was a little concerned after with all the portal entries the past couple of days. I'm not gonna lie to you. Dad and Xavier had to talk me off a ledge for a little bit, but just before we went live, uh, Alabama got a commit from NC State transfer running back Hollywood Smothers. He was the number 2 running back in the portal, which is much needed for Alabama, especially with if you go look at his tape. One thing he is really good at is vision. He is able to see a hole, and once he hits the hole, he's gone. I mean, our running backs this year had a problem at hitting the hole, but when they did hit the hole, they had outside of Kevin Riley, had really no breakaway speed. And so I think he's going to be a great addition for Alabama.
Absolutely. X, your thoughts on we now have 2 Hollywoods in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, we do. Dalen Hollywood Smothers. I mean, he's a really explosive back. Him and Riley are very similar physically built wise. Both listed at 5'11", 195. Skill sets are a little different. I see Jahmyr Gibbs when I look at Smothers, and I see Kenyon Drake when I look at Riley, just to kind of give an idea. Those probably aren't perfect one-for-one comparisons, but it's the best that you can give for people to know when you talk about Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's interesting that that's the style of running back that Alabama went after in the portal when you're talking about what Alabama wants to do with the running back room. You know, we talked about it on the Martin Houston show. We watched Riley go from the 15 back to the starter. Then of course Jam came back and they tried to go Jam and Hill as the different type of backs to run, but you really saw more explosion and excitement when you had Riley on the field. So it'll be interesting to see if Smothers and Riley become the 1-2 punch for this year. How does A.K. Deere, Daniel Hill, and of course E.J. Correll work into the mix? Alabama has 5 talented running backs, but as good as those running backs are talent-wise, this offensive line needs to be the next big fix in the portal and with development.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he averages right under 6 yards a carry. And Alabama averaged 3.4 yards a carry as a team this past season. So, I mean, like I said, once he hits the hole, he's gone. And so, like you said, X, offensive line has to be the next several pickups, in my opinion, to replace what Alabama's lost this past year.
yeah, and couple things here. One is you use Jahmyr Gibbs as an example of what he's like. If Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't show you how big a deal coaching matters, guys, he was an average running back at Alabama at best. Like you don't look when we start talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, I mean running backs, who's going to throw Jahmyr Gibbs out based on what he did at Alabama?
Just based off of what happened on the field, not many.
Right. Yeah. When you look at what he does at Detroit versus what he did here, like you watch Jameson Williams at Detroit, you go, I saw that at Alabama. You watch Jahmyr Gibbs, you go, how did we not use that guy
outside of the Arkansas game?
Right. That's what I'm saying. So that's one thing about coaching that is just huge. You look at what Ben Johnson did when he went to Chicago, what he did with Jahmyr. Number two is guys like Jahmyr Gibbs or Hollywood Smothers, guys, they will immediately upgrade even last year's offensive line. Let me tell you what I mean by that. We didn't have guys who knew how to see the hole, hit a hole. we just didn't have that guy last year. And so as bad as our offensive line was, it wasn't as bad as the results. It wasn't as bad as the productivity. Some of the productivity in our run game was our coach and his lack of commitment, and talking about the offense coordinator, and the fact that our running backs didn't always hit the hole or set up the block.
Right.
Right. Mm-hmm. So that immediately, and to me, what I think we do is I think our run game will be better next year simply because we got a running back that can do it. Deere will be in his second year, and I believe he has it. And then the third one is I think Crowell has it. And Keith Holcomb says that's on coaching. I disagree, Keith. That's natural or not. I was not the most gifted like speed guy, but I had good vision and good feet. You can't coach that. That's like what I just described for a running back is the equivalent of describing you can't coach 6'7", 330 pounds of athlete. You can't coach that.
Right.
And so our running backs, now their ability to press a hole, you can teach that. But to see it, you can't. You can't teach that. And to hit it, you can't teach that. You can teach like we had runs this year because we had the ball in the wrong hand. We couldn't stiff arm and get past the tackle because we were going to the left and had the ball in our right hand, and we couldn't put our hand out to push off a tackle. That's coaching. But what I'm talking about is Barry Sanders, Jahmyr Gibbs. That's not how you use them is on coaching, and I agree with that. So
yeah,
anyway,
absolutely.
Yeah, let's hear from George T. Like I said, this is a 3-minute clip. So, what did I do with it? Yeah. Oh man, I think I may have just closed it accidentally. So let me go here. I'll find it. Y'all talk while
No, I'm excited to see this running back room this next season. I think that with EJ Crowell coming in and with Hollywood Smothers and with Riley, I think our running back room as a whole will look a lot better, have a lot more explosive plays, like you said, just because of the running back's natural ability to see the hole and press on the hole.
Yep. All right, here we go. Y'all ready? I apologize for that, but technology is a beautiful thing.
DeBoer, he will never be good enough for you. You keep wanting him to be and operate like Nick Saban, and that is not who he is. You don't run across Nick Sabans very often. But let me tell you why. History says that DeBoer won't be as good as or better than Nick Saban. So let me talk about other coaches who followed legendary coaches, right? So the first one, Notre Dame and Lou Holtz. Did you know it took 4 coaches before they found Brian Kelly? Penn State and Joe Paterno. Bill O'Brien followed him. He only lasted 2 seasons. The Michigan Wolverines and Bo Schembechler. Man, I used to love the Michigan Wolverines. It was 18 years before they won another natty. And it wasn't even the coach that followed Bo to win it. Hold on. I'm not done. How about Oklahoma after Barry Switzer? I'm glad you asked. It took 4 coaches before they got Bob Stoops and another national championship. Still not done. Texas, Mac Brown. They are 3 coaches in with no natties since Mac. Okay, those Auburn turds, they had this guy named Ralph Jordan, then some guy named Doug Barfield who stayed 5 years before they found Pat Dye. He ended up winning one, but let's get to it, right? How about Alabama and Bear Bryant and his natties? 6 of them. It was Ray Perkins who went 48-32. Then Burr Curry came after him, one of my coaches. He went 36-26. It took Gene Stallings, my other coach, to come in and win another ship. Then it was another 12 years before this guy named Nick Saban showed up. So what are you saying, George? Let me tell you what I'm saying. I'm saying stop all the crap about this ain't Alabama football. This ain't the standard. Yeah, I said ain't. I said it on purpose because this is Alabama football. It's just being done by someone who is not legendary. DeBoer, he stuck his neck in kahunas out there to follow a legendary coach, knowing this could not end up well for him. But he was a brave soul to join this family because of that. So show the man some respect and give him the 3 years, maybe 4 years it takes, and or all the recruitment money to go buy the team. It's going to take a great coach and $20+ million a year in player salaries to contend for a national championship every year. And I'm not sure our donor base is really ready to move to that standard. But if we aren't, well, you saw the result. And Nick Saban, he saw it coming. So he bolted just in the nick of time. You saw what I did there. For more information specifically about the ass whooping Indiana gave Alabama, stay tuned to my socials and watch our Tigs Take podcast on YouTube this Monday night at 8:15 p.m. Central Time. I have some thoughts about that game too. That's a Tigs Take, and I'm out.
Your response, guys.
Hey, what I say?
You're right. You're
Spend
right.
the money. Got to spend the money. Are our donors willing to do it? But
I mean,
what he also didn't mention in those 12 years between Coach Stallings last year and Coach Saban, actually it was 11. Because Coach Stallings last year was 96, right? It took 4. Alabama had 4 coaches. Dubose, Franchione, Price, Shula. On top of sanctions and penalties and almost the death penalty. Give them time. Give them time. Give them the resources, the financials. And once again, we talked about how much money Alabama spent. If Alabama spent that much money and these other schools are spending $30, $40, $50 million less, can we see if some of that money can be spent towards paying these players to get us the ones we need? Because guess what? Indiana's still playing, and they out there dropping a bag for next year.
Do you realize how much $20 million is to a billionaire?
Chump change.
Bro. And we
How
don't
many
have
billionaires? I was gonna say how many billionaires Alabama got.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, and everybody like we were one game from playing for a championship, and that's what I always pointed out. I'm going to talk about what needs to be talked about. I ain't going to sugarcoat it, but at the same time, I'm saying it's a different era, different day, different way of doing things. And guys, I think we have to stop saying we need to get back to, because now we need to move forward. We need to,
Yeah.
and there's a coach that said that 3 years ago, because the program he leads, everybody kept saying, when is he going to be back? When is it going to be back? When is it going to be back? Well, we got Josh Pate of college football, of the college football show, that was in a meeting with this particular coach. And he said, in offline, he said, I'm so tired of hearing about the standard that used to be here. Guys, we need to push this coach to be the best version of Alabama that it can be in 2026, not be 2021 or 2020. Different coach, different culture, different time, different season, and a totally different business model, like Pete Fields said. Coming back on the other side, we're going to hear from this guy, and then, guys, it's a continuation of what Teague said. But we'll be back in a short break here. We'll be back on the other side. All right, guys. Hey, listen. I'm gonna read this, and then we're gonna let Josh answer the question. How many of us have said the same thing? After watching that Rose Bowl splattering, how can anyone think DeBoer is getting Alabama back to where Saban had it?
Brian from Destin, Florida. After watching that Rose Bowl splattering, how can anyone think Kalen DeBoer is getting Alabama back to where Saban had it? Well, I don't know, Brian, because he's not going to. I would say it's a waste of time to think that he was. I would say it's a waste of time for Kalen DeBoer to focus on getting Alabama back to where Nick Saban was, because I would suggest to you that had Nick Saban stuck around at Alabama, he wasn't getting Alabama back to where Nick Saban had it a decade prior. Mario Cristobal is the one you guys need to listen to on this. Mario Cristobal, I remember being down there for like spring practice 3 years ago, and I was sitting in his office, and someone had asked him for the umpteenth time about getting the U back. When are you going to get the U back? And he answered the question diplomatically, and then when he wasn't on camera, I didn't ask him, someone asked him, and when he wasn't on camera, he just let loose. And he said, I'm so tired of people asking me, when is the U going to be back? And he looked at me dead in the eye and said, the U is never going to be back. Because they're asking for something to reemerge that's impossible to reemerge. That was another generation. That was another time in college football that's come and gone. It's impossible to replicate what we did here in the late 80s, early 90s. I'm not focused on bringing the U back. I'm focused on building what the U will be. That's what he said. And then 3 years later, wouldn't you know it, they're playing for a shot at the national championship later this week. That is exactly how Kalen DeBoer should be thinking at Alabama. It's not, how do we get Bama back to the way Saban had it? You're not going to. So you can waste your time. You can have all the expectations in the world. You could pay a guy $10 million, $15 million. You could pay him $15 billion. They're not going to be what Saban was. Saban could leave the game day set, come back to Tuscaloosa, and he would never in a million years recreate what he created. They'd be good, but they wouldn't be insurmountably deep. Their twos wouldn't be better than your ones because their twos would be playing for you, because that's how college football works now.
That's how
I mean, he said it all right there.
Yeah.
That's how college football works now. I don't know that. Guys, do you think a conference can be as dominant as Nick? Do you think there'll be a conference win, one conference? Do you think with the way college football is structured right now, will one conference in a 17-year window win 6 titles?
I can see it. I mean, because there's the Power Four is the Power Four now, so I could see 5.
Do you think the Pac-12 and the not the Pac-12, but
Big 12,
the ACC and the Big 12
no,
will get into the title race?
Texas Tech
Texas Tech can
they continue to pour money on it. They'll
a $5 million quarterback says enough what they can do and how they can build.
SMU will be there. They will be there every year.
SMU in the ACC.
Florida
Baylor
might be able to get back.
could.
Miami
Baylor has the money.
This year. Miami could be there this year.
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, so Saban won his last one in 2020. Since then, you've had 2 SEC championships, both Georgia, and you have 2 Big Ten champions, Ohio State and Michigan. So let's just say from his last national championship, we're 4 years into that. So over the next, what would that be, the next 13 years, the SEC has to win 4 more. The Big 12 has to win 4 more. And currently right now, you got 2 Big Ten teams. You're going to have a Big Ten team in the national championship game, and you might have an SEC school in it. So, I mean, they could be at 3 in 3 years.
Yeah.
Now, will there ever be a run like the SEC had?
No.
Absolutely not. Because you're talking, 06 through 12? It was Florida, Alabama, LSU, Auburn. You'll never see that again.
Yeah, I agree. And what's his name saying? I agree, Keith Holcomb saying I don't expect the board to be Saban, but I also don't expect us to get mollywalk 3 to 4 games a year. I agree. I'm not in any way making an excuse for that. But I want us to recognize, as bad as that is, we were 1 game from a Final Four. Let that sink in. As bad as our problems were, we were 1 game from a Final Four. And someone said, I think it was this morning, they said, but the SEC is not what it used to be. That's true, but that's the conference we play in. So that's all we have to do is, I mean, it's kind of like
you just got to win.
The Big Ten was never what it used to be, and it still isn't to me. They still have only a few top-heavy teams, right? So
I mean, that's every conference. I mean, when
that's what I'm saying is
when we're talking about the ACC, it's going to be Miami, SMU, Clemson if Dabo can right the ship every year. The Big 12 is going to be Texas Tech. Is probably going to be Baylor, and throw in another team that can BYU.
Any of those Big 12 teams, listen to me. Any of those Big 12 teams or teams that are based in Texas can get a championship team. There will not be championship programs again, but every one of those schools, Xavier, can do what if Indiana can do it with 1 billionaire and a good coach.
I mean, we're talking about, like I said, we're talking about Texas Tech.
Before this year, they were the losingest program in the history of college football.
Yeah.
I mean, when you get a head coach job there, you have to think nobody else thinks I can coach. That's why Nettie said, "Google me, I win." Ain't no,
Or you use
that
it
may
as a
be the
stepping
greatest.
stone.
That may be the greatest quote. That may be the greatest quote ever. So, but, do what?
No, it's. I mean, I don't like how arrogant. I mean, this very arrogant. But
Oh,
man,
that's an understatement.
but when you go and beat Alabama 38
By
to 3,
35.
hey,
You give Alabama their worst loss since 1997.
Hey,
you can.
guys,
It's
yeah.
all good.
Hey, let's hit this. Let's talk a little bit about the portal, a little bit about the stars and all that stuff. And I want to play a quick video here of the this is why stars don't matter. Nettie said, hold on. Nettie don't even look at stars. Understand, guys. This is what is making them say a guy's a 5-star. Have y'all noticed which direction he moves on every play?
Back.
Back.
Yeah. Have y'all seen enough?
Yep.
Yeah.
So respond to that, guys. I mean, literally.
It, I mean, for an offensive lineman camp, and that's how you get your 1 through 5 stars when pass blocking doesn't even look like that in a real game anyway. Uh, I mean, and you have pads on, and I mean, I agree with Coach Signetti. What do those guys? How can you look at that and say, "Yep, that's a 5-star," or "That's a 4-star"? He's not as good.
Now don't get me wrong.
It's
They
turned
are
into what the
looking.
NFL combine was. How many guys have we seen get overdrafted, moved up draft boards because they
At least
run
they have
fast? They look
film.
good in shorts.
But they have film against equal opponents.
True.
In other words, and that's what Signetti said. Now, don't get me wrong; these guys, these recruiting services, I think they do a good job and all of that. But what I'm saying is, most of the time, if a guy doesn't go to a camp, he is
won't get
not going to
recruited.
be a 5-star for sure, and he's going to have a hard time getting to a 4-star. So, first of all, they're only ranking the guys who are making it to the camps as a whole. Now, they may find some guys out there that they go and get, and they do watch film. So I'm not saying these guys aren't watching film either. But to Signetti's point, he was like, how many of them know film compared to what I know? I mean, compared to what I'm watching hundreds of hours of film, and I know how my system works, and all that. He said I'm gonna be out there finding a guy that I'm gonna be out there finding a guy that everybody else has missed.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
Nick
said I never look at
Saban.
a star. He said he literally said I never look at a star. I'm gonna find that audio.
Nick Saban is one of the greatest talent evaluators that I've ever seen. And guess what Kurt Signetti was for him? Oh, his recruiting coordinator. And I mean, we've talked about it. You've got the Quinnen Williams, the Josh Jacobs, the Eddie Jacksons, all of these guys that were 3-stars.
Do you know the recruiting story for Josh Jacobs?
Wyoming at a basketball game, right?
Wyoming was the only school that had offered him, and Coach Burns showed up at a basketball game.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean, and that, dog, you want to talk about just the list of the recruiting evaluators he had on his staff.
Yeah. And somebody said Saban said the same thing about discounting. Now, yeah, Saban. Now, like when you looked at the 5 stars that Saban did sign, the
Yeah,
reason I trusted Saban's evaluation of the 5 stars we signed was because Saban put more 5 stars in the first round
Yeah.
than
than
everybody else.
all the other 5 stars from all the other schools like combined. So if Nick Saban signed a 5 star and that guy stayed here 3 to 4 years, he generally became a first round draft pick. 5 stars who go to other places, the track record is far worse. So even though Saban was signing 5 stars, some of that was he's signing guys that they would end up making 5 stars because Saban agreed with them. The other one was Saban would see a 5 star that they had rated, and he knew that guy was a legit 5 star, right?
Right.
So that made it all work out. Hey guys, y'all want to get ready to wrap up and hit the 2 games real quick, or you got anything else that you want to hit in terms of the portal?
Well,
I guess we really do. Alabama's had a lot of guys go in the portal before we hit the games real quick. Alabama's had a lot of guys go in the portal. They've had a few visits. What are your overall thoughts and assessments on the portal? Is it as bad as it seems, or is it just the numbers and the fact that we're coming off a bad loss?
I don't think it's as bad as it seems because I mean, when you look at it, it hurts to lose a Wilkin Formby. It hurts to lose a Quay Russaw. It hurts to lose a Keon Keeley because of where you feel like they could continue to grow and get better here. When you look at most of the other guys, it's depth pieces. You know, I like Jalen Hill. I like Cole Adams, but didn't seem like we were going to get much out of them going forward with the younger guys were coming that were coming in and playing in front of them. Hey, Rico Scott's out of the portal. I think that's a good move for Alabama. When you look along the offensive line, outside of Wilkin, you did Ola Saline. I think he could be a good player, but you hadn't seen anything. Micah Dubo's freshman that redshirted. The it stinks, but there's only been a couple like, oh, those guys left. Noah Carter, think he could be good, but he's a depth piece. Younger guys playing more than him. Guys coming in. So that's the big thing. Where Alabama seems to have been focused, though, is exactly where I feel like they need to focus in this portal window, and that is offensive line. When you look at Caden Strayhorn from Michigan, he's an interior guy. He can play center or guard for you. Jimothy Lewis, who we looked at in that clip, he's a tackle. And you've got Brock Riker, who's an interior guy, center. He mostly at center. Bama lands those 3 guys. I like that step in the direction, especially with Riker and Strayhorn there and Lewis. They're all young guys. They'll be redshirt sophomores, redshirt freshmen next year. And then defensive line wise, we look at Wendell Gregory, Devin Tompkins out of USC. We've been linked to him. It looks like he's going to be a guy once he gets here, isn't going to leave without a commitment. Wide receivers, Cam Coleman. Hey, guys, it was good while it lasted. It doesn't look like he's going to take a visit. He's going to end up somewhere in Texas, whether it be the Longhorns or the Aggies. He's going to be in Texas.
Didn't he originally commit to?
He was originally committed to A&M. So I feel like that's where he'll probably end up. Caleb Woodson is currently on his visit. He's a linebacker from Virginia Tech. I think that's a good fit for Alabama. Plays a lot like Justin Jefferson. Those are good fits. Bama's got a couple more wide receivers, though. Chase Hendricks out of Ohio, the Bobcats. Great season he had. Malcolm Simmons, we saw what he did to us. That's where it seems to be going as far as portal. There's been a couple other guys that we've talked to. A couple of them have signed other places already. Rayleigh Brown with Smothers committing. Don't think we land him at the running back position out of Arizona State. But once again, it's interesting. Rayleigh Brown, 5'9", 195 pounds, smaller, quicker back. Is that the direction that DeBoer wants to go with his running backs?
No, he has the two. He has the two big guys already. He
True.
already has Deere and
Crowell.
Crowell. So
Yeah.
so he's
But
getting. I think he's getting the other side of it. I think he's getting the.
do we lose? Because when you look at it, Daniel Hill seems to be the odd man out. Do we hear him potentially entering the portal in the next couple of days? Because Riley and Smothers cut from the same cloth. Crowell and Deere cut from the same cloth. I like Daniel Hill, but he doesn't seem to fit.
I mean, I agree. I think that the bad loss in the Rose Bowl hurt Alabama a bunch. And like you said, that I think it has caused a couple of guys to jump into the portal that wouldn't necessarily have jumped in the portal. But also, like you said, Xavier, there's only 3 guys that contributed a bunch. The rest are depth pieces, which you hate to lose depth. But you don't. I mean, in college football nowadays, you're not going to have a bunch of depth going forward. And I think offensive line is obviously the biggest offense and defensive line. If Alabama can get more physical guys along the offensive and defensive line, I think Alabama will be a lot better going into the season. But that's also coaching. I don't want to, because it doesn't matter if you get all the hog mollies all you want, but if you're not coaching them correctly and if you're not instilling that physical mentality, it doesn't really matter. So maybe we need to hit the transfer portal for coaches.
Yeah,
along with players.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope we're gonna have some guys in the portal there. But the other thing that I would add to that is Quay, Keeley, and Wilkin are the 3 starters that's gone. Wilkin, I think, is a lost cause, and because I helped coach him and I know him. I wish him nothing but the best and much success wherever he lands, and I hope he gets to be that next Tuscaloosa kid that makes it to the league. And I know his faith, and I know him, and I know his family, so I'm praying for nothing but the best for him. Hate to lose him from the Tide. I think Quay may be negotiating or his feelings hurt.
Think they told him, "Hey, might move you inside."
It's possible, or he just wants a guarantee of more playing time. And guys, I think Pierre Yunze will be further ahead of him than he is right now. I think the ceiling on Pierre
was higher rated coming out of Pierre was the higher rated of the two, even coming out of high school. And Quay had the grown man body sooner than
practice well. And
yeah.
What happened was he fooled around and let Pierre get on the field, and them lights were on. And they're like, this is one of them dudes that we gonna have to teach him how to practice, but we know what he can do when the lights are on. So I think that could be part of it. But I also I just wonder, to me, you may need to modify your defense, because if you look at our defense, those 2 are 2 of our best players.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy to have them both on the sideline. And so to me, they need to look at a 3-4 or a 4-3.
Because I think you're going to be in the same situation again.
Look at this. Tell me that what's the Marito and Bain at Miami? Is it what's his
Madera?
Name? Whatever number 3, 3 and 4. That's Pierre and Quay. They're bigger. They're a little bigger body, but both of those guys, I think you need to have them on the field at the same time, I guess is what I'm saying.
But you're gonna run into, unless you make that change, You're going to run into the same problem. The only benefit is Yonze's probably gone because Justin Hill is a playmaker. And I think he'll get better the more he plays.
Yeah.
But you're going to have him standing on the sideline.
I'd rather have him standing on the sideline than Quay.
No, I'm saying right now, Quay's in the portal. Quay might not be back, but with Justin Hill and Yonze Pierre,
I think Justin is going to be fine with if Justin has the same role he had this year. I think he'll be fine because he knows that he's the man the next year. So that's just my thought. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure some of these guys in the portal isn't using it, like I said this morning, the same way that the NFL uses holdouts. They negotiating. I think some of them are negotiating. Rico Scott is back. Why? I think he got what he got. I think he was looking for something. And he got whatever that reassurance was. So I think that makes sense. And I think Keeley is one of those guys that may be looking for a little bit. Because what would you have been paying Keeley last year?
pennies.
Right? And if he just sits back and waits, he gonna be paid what? So he go in the portal. Now we have to buy him back out of the portal. And I hate it, but that's college football. I don't hate the guys getting paid. I just hate the system is so poorly structured. So that's what I'm saying about that. I want these guys to make as much money as they can. You have a 3 to 4 year earning window, rack it up. And Teague said it, $20+ million a year if you want to win championships. I'm not sure. Chris Camp said, I hope Keon Keeley, Quay Russaw, and Noah Carter all come back. I think if we get 1 to 2 of those guys, it'll be a win. It'll be a win. So
See, you can't get Noah and Quay back. I don't unless you change your defense and move somebody. You got to change your defense and move somebody.
And change defenses and put them out on the outside. And who's to say that who's to say that Womack won't get a head coaching job somewhere? And you bring in a different defensive coordinator. So there's a lot of things that could still happen around this coaching staff, but I'm ready to see some happen from this coaching staff. Yeah. I do think we need to do that. So we'll break down the portal as changes come. We'll keep you up to date on that. Remember, the Martin Houston show is every morning, Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. Martin, Xavier, and Simeon were all together there. And this is the Houston Huddle. Let's make sure we knock out those games. So who wants to go first?
It's Indiana versus Oregon and Miami Ole Miss. Okay. I'm first with the Indiana Oregon game. The way that Kurt Signetti is talking, I don't think it's gonna be close. Indiana and Oregon. I don't have a score prediction or anything.
I don't have a score prediction.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but I think the way that Indiana is playing, it's going to be hard to beat that team. With going on to Miami and Ole Miss, I'm now on the SEC as a whole bandwagon. SEC needs to at least get some representation in the championship to at least,
we ain't been there since Georgia won it.
Postseason record out some. So I'm choosing Ole Miss. I mean, Trinidad Chambliss is a game changer. He is something serious. If if the Heisman Trophy wasn't voted on until after the season, he would be in New York after what he's done his last few games of the season. And so I'm choosing Ole Miss to get to get to the championship, and Pete Golden is gonna get his national championship. Ole Miss winning it all.
Xavier.
I'm glad to see that you jumping on the bandwagon because y'all
I'm
looked at me
on it.
like I
I'm
was
on it.
crazy when
I'm
I
on
picked
it.
Ole Miss last week.
Kirby helped you out. Kirby
Yeah.
did Kirby.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Kirby
Appreciate
did
it.
Kirby.
I'm on the bandwagon.
But I'm the only one that thought Ole Miss would be
First
there.
class
And but I didn't think Miami would be there. I'm taking Ole Miss close. I don't have a score, but I'll take them close. And I'm gonna stick with my rematch theory. I'm gonna take Oregon.
Yeah, and
Because Dante Moore is not the same quarterback he was in start number 4 or 5. And that Oregon defense, Texas Tech did some stupid things, but Brandon Finney Jr. is a playmaker at corner. They got a pass rush, and they got some dogs at linebacker. So I think they'll be able to do. And remember, Lanning's background is what? Old school SEC. And I think he'll grind it out against Indiana, and I think he'll hit them in the mouth.
yeah, yeah. I'm torn on the Indiana and Oregon because what I don't want to see happen is Indiana get mollywopped because that just makes the Alabama loss even worse, right? I mean, just let that sink in for a second. If Oregon were, do you understand? If Oregon were to dominate Indiana, which I do believe is a possibility, and let me tell you why I think it's a possibility. Football is all about matchups.
Yeah.
Football, all sports are about matchups. Alabama is a soft team, even though they were coming through the SEC, and they were more soft mentally than they were physically. I don't. What I'm struggling with was Texas Tech overhyped because
They dominated the Big 12.
Texas Tech 31 points average margin of victory. They beat everybody by 20 plus.
Never had to play a team that was even close to their competition.
Right. So with that said, Oregon made them look pedestrian on offense. I mean,
pedestrian is nice.
It was like they hadn't practiced offense. And Oregon went against, I think the Texas Tech defense was legit.
Oh, 100%.
And so I think that prepares them to play against a legit defense this week in Indiana. So the question is, can Indiana's corners stay with the speed of Oregon? I don't know. I'm going to do it like I did Miami. If Lanning can stay out of his own way, like y'all were saying about Beck last week, if good Lanning show up, I got Oregon.
I'm changing my pick. I'm going with Oregon too. Y'all convinced me. I like Dante Moore. You're right. I watched that game and the one thing about what I will say about Oregon. Oregon, like you said, X, is a physical run team. They can run the ball, and when you look at and Dante Moore, he's an accurate quarterback too. And
he's a dual threat guy, but he's a passer first.
He
I
can
know,
hit the
I
deep
know,
ball.
right? And so I think after hearing y'all talk, I'm flipping. I'm taking Oregon. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the reality.
They were talking too much. I was like, yeah. I
Yeah.
started agreeing with y'all way too much
Yeah.
to take Indiana.
Then when you look at the Ole Miss Miami game, my pick's gonna be not analytics. I mean, it's gonna be I want SEC representation.
Yeah.
But the other part that I would say is uh, Beck. I don't think he can do it 3 games in a row. He's been good back too much.
That is true.
He been good back.
Lay an egg.
He been good back. It's time for him to lay egg. Now
Trinidad Chambers will eliminate their pass rush.
I mean, I don't know about eliminate.
You can't
But
tackle
they
them.
go bad. But they just I think Ole Miss is touched. I think they got some of that 92 magic where it doesn't make sense that they're good as they are. Like when you looked at our offense and you looked at our defense was dominant, but we scored 34 points and only one of those was a non-offense. You see what I'm saying? Like we had 125 yards rushing against Miami in the first half. Lassick had over 100 yards in the first half. We were touched that year. But if you looked at us, our center was 240 pounds. Our right guard was missing his big toe. I mean, we didn't have them dudes. But we were such a good team that and the things were just falling. We threw for 18 yards and won a national championship. I mean, I know we were run first, but come on now. And so I think Ole Miss is that team.
Yeah.
I think Ole Miss is that team. But I'm also picking them because
SEC.
Because I want the SEC. Guys, if we lose, we will be looked at as the third. They'll start talking in the offseason as the SEC is the third or fourth best conference. They're gonna be a long offseason unless we get into that.
Especially if Miami
If Miami wins it. Oh, if Miami beats Ole Miss, then wins it, then beats the conference and has won it 2 years in a row, they automatically getting bumped up from fourth, and then it's going to be, well, they beat the SEC to get into it. Well, they beat the 2-time.
Hey, what's that old song? One monkey don't make no show. They can't get it. They ain't gonna get it because they win one time, though. I'm just saying they ain't gonna. The Big Ten is the best conference right now. I got a little throw up in my mouth when I said that. But
everybody in the Big Ten can run the ball.
The Big Ten is playing old school SEC football, and guess what? They have now
with elite wide receivers.
But they have Southern talent mixed in. There's more guys from the South going up north now because you don't have the second team. Your second team guys that were waiting are now up north and playing. That's right.
I mean, that's gonna be funny. Where's Caleb Downs from? Where's Jeremiah Smith from?
Yeah, I mean, just
Arvell Reese, I think, is from.
And if you want a quarterback, go to California. I mean, let's be real. California, I think they're soft from football players, but I think they know how to put out quarterbacks, and that's a concern. We're gonna have to get up out of here. But guys, that's what my concern is. Did y'all not see when you put that? One of y'all posted about the D lineman. I said, do we need to move away from these California boys?
Maybe.
You better go out here and find you some boy out there that's wrestling with pigs.
Iowa. It's somewhere in the middle of the U.S.
Go get you some of them corn fans.
We got one from Iowa.
Hey, Simeon, y'all listen. Go get you some of them corn-fed boys that don't have a butt. Yeah, hey, go back and look at Indiana's offensive line.
But they got that gut.
Go look at the Indiana offensive line. Ain't none of them got a butt.
But they got a gut.
But I also want.
The corn-fed.
They Jersey rise up a little bit.
Where's Caden Proctor from?
He from Iowa, but
you got to practice too. I'm
That's
sorry.
true.
Look.
You know, we need to go get a Bradley Bozeman.
Yes, we need to get somebody
from North Dakota or wherever he's from, Minnesota.
Bradley Bozeman?
Yeah.
Was from like Bibb County or somewhere.
No.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, Bradley Bozeman? Bradley Bozeman from
he's
up
from
north.
Roanoke. No, he's from Roanoke.
Roanoke. Who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
We had another one. You know what?
School nasty.
Another one from that era was from like North Dakota.
We need to find some guys that nobody else wants.
Barrett Jones.
We need to get rid of Coach. We talking about who we need to get rid of. Hey guys, let's get ready to get out of here. Hey, thanks to all our viewers for being a part of the show. Simeon is now on the Oregon bandwagon.
I am. I'm on Oregon and Ole Miss bandwagon.
And Oregon and Ole Miss. And listen, I don't want it to be a blowout because the worst thing that could happen is Indiana get blown out. I want it to be a good game, though. So we need some nasties all over through our coaching staff. Hey, remember that we do it every Monday through Friday under the umbrella of the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Simeon and Xavier from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. every Monday through Friday. We do this once a week or so. We'll always let you know when we're coming live. We appreciate the interaction here. We appreciate you supporting us. Like, follow, share, tell your family and friends about what we're doing here. We appreciate you. It's the Houston Huddle. 3 voices, every angle, beyond the headline. You ain't going to hear this stuff anywhere else, I'm telling you. Ain't nobody else talking about corn-fed boys with no butts. Ain't nobody else talking about that. It's the only place you're going to find that. And TISM. You get the TISM here. With y'all. My sons just disowned me. So, roll Tide, everybody. It's been the Houston Huddle. Remember this, trust in the Lord always, man. He can be trusted. Lean not your own understanding. All your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. I'm Martin Houston. That's Xavier Houston. That's Simeon Houston. This is the Houston Huddle.